You can't think of the PlayStation 2 without thinking about God of War. The only Sony IP that has been on the PlayStation 2, the PSP, PS3, and PS4 where all the games were critically acclaimed. So I guess Kratos is Sony's mascot, which I'm pretty okay with. The first God of War was released on March 22nd, 2005 exclusively for the PlayStation 2. It sold 4.6 million copies worldwide, which made it the 14th best-selling PS2 game of all time. A pretty great achievement. With that being said, let's get into the 10 awesome facts you didn't know about God of War.
Now let's knock this motherfucker out of the park!
Number 10. Kratos almost looked completely different. Kratos has one of the most iconic looks to him. You possibly can't imagine him in any other way, but did you know that there were a lot of other versions of him that obviously didn't make it to the game? Some were really bad, while others would make for some pretty cool alternate skins, and I think some of them might have been actually.
The things I said to him, I said brutal, nasty, violent, pissed off, angry.
The hardest part about making Kratos was that the storyline wasn't really there yet. And so I was trying to create a character that didn't have that story behind him yet.
What they came back with was their versions of anger and the things that they were mad at and the things that, it was really kind of neat because you got to look at the concept art and kind of see how everybody dealt with anger and madness and chaos.
Number 9. The creative director and the team didn't get along. They did get along, but sometimes they didn't. For example, the animation for when Kratos rips off Medusa's head was one of the longest parts when creating the game. David Jaffe, the creative director, obsessed over this animation so much that he pissed off everyone who was working on it. He would say things like, "The animations are not brutal enough, the art's not brutal enough, not enough blood, needs more chaos."
Ripping the head off the Medusa, long development cycle for that one. It was redone several times.
We obsessed over it. I pissed off everybody.
I'd say being too picky about something in this case worked out great, as the Medusa's head ripping off animation is pretty brutal and awesome. But that is just one instance. David Jaffe has gone on record stating that him and the creative team were constantly butting heads.
Making the game was definitely a fight. Me and the team butted heads a lot.
And he was so angry and passionate about this game that he feels his blood, sweat, and tears poured into the creation of Kratos, and he believes Kratos is pretty much him, to a certain extent.
There was this anger, I guess, that built up inside of me that I think I really transferred over to Kratos, and I look at Kratos now and it's like, that's me.
Number 8. God of War was inspired by Capcom's Onimusha. David Jaffe wanted to follow the stories from Greek mythology, but didn't want to feel trapped by what already has been written. So they decided to modify the myths in order to allow the team to have lots of freedom.
Olympus would be that way.
This idea was inspired because David Jaffe had played Onimusha and said, let's do that but with Greek mythology. The fact that Japanese lore is also set in stone, and Onimusha went ahead and did whatever they wanted to do, and also made it bloody and gory, and that's what inspired him. This wasn't the only thing that inspired him though. The movie Clash of Titans for the style and feel, and heavy metal for the sex and violence. Number 7. There was going to be a movie made in the early 2000s. After the wild success of the game, a film adaptation was announced in 2005. A script was completed by David Self, a screenwriter who wrote films such as The Haunting, you know, that one with Liam Neeson, Road to Perdition, Tom Hanks, and Wolfman, Anthony Hopkins. Universal Studios was even committed to creating a God of War film, and in 2008, Brett Ratner was attached to direct it, but eventually left the project to direct Tower Heist, which I actually enjoyed Tower Heist.
First thing you do, you gotta find the entry point. You gotta use your fingers when you find the entry point. You married?
No, I ain't married. What's up?
Thank God he didn't direct God of War, because I don't think he would have done God of War justice, as he pretty much butchered the X-Men franchise with X-Men The Last Stand. In 2012, the script would change hands to Patrick Melton and Marcus Dunstan for some rewrites. They wanted to humanize Kratos more and have the film start with him as a human and with his family, which I think is a great idea. As of October 2020, the film adaptation is nowhere near being created, as there isn't a director or any actors attached to the film, but there is a finished script and a budget of $150 million. Number 6. The title to the game was randomly picked. It's true, in March of 2019, there was a Twitter post which asked what the original title of God of War was, where the person jokingly stated Angry Man from Ancient Greece, but what followed was pretty amazing. David Jaffe wrote in a follow-up tweet that they couldn't decide between 3 titles, so they threw them all into a hat and picked it at random. And he states, "Think Zeus God of War came up." Imagine if the game was called Dark Odyssey, pretty generic title, or if it was At the Hands of the Gods. That one's just too long. My question is, why on earth was there even a debate? God of War is the best title, obviously. Number 5, alternate box art. In the NTSC region, we got this box art, a very iconic image. In the PAL region, they got this box art. Not as good, at least to me. But as all video games do, they create a ton of different artworks to choose from. Some of these would have been pretty awesome. I always wished when they released a video game, they would have alternate cover designs to choose from. Number 4, the game was a smash hit. When the game was released in 2005, it received universal acclaim from every reviewer known to mankind, or womankind, or is it sapient kind now? I don't know. 2020, man, jeez. Anyway, on Metacritic, the game is sitting at a 94 out of 100 from 75 critic reviews. Pretty damn great. Electronic Gaming Monthly said God of War's control and combo scheme is as much a work of art as the game's presentation, which rivals a Hollywood sand and sandals epic, and you rarely find puzzles this clever and well integrated in other hack and slash adventures. GameSpot Australia, rest in peace, said God of War is a stylish, gory, and challenging action game that rewards you for skill and persistence. One of the best action titles to be released on the PlayStation 2 so far. Let's not forget about my go-to review website in the early 2000s, GameSpy. They said, "I feel totally comfortable saying that God of War is the best action game ever to grace the PS2. The gameplay, graphics, sound, production, presentation, and the story are excellent. It all adds up to an epic Greek adventure where you can execute some of the slickest moves in gaming." Number 3, the original voice actor of Kratos was in a 90s sitcom. The original actor who voiced Kratos was Terrence Carson, an actor who is best known for his voice, as he has done voices for a lot of video games and cartoons. But in the 90s, he was in a pretty popular show with Queen Latifah called Living Single. I actually watched this show a ton back in the day, and I remember enjoying it, but I don't remember a single thing from it anymore, and I only know he was in it because I looked it up. Anyway, it was weird to see Kratos in a 90s sitcom with Queen Latifah. Terrence Carson actually didn't do the voice for the 2018 God of War game, that was Christopher Judge, and I'm not sure why they changed the actor. That'll have to be covered on a 10 things list for the God of War game, I guess.
You do not know everything, boy.
Number 2, God of War spawned many clones. With any successful game comes the clones. Since God of War was a huge success, well, of course there's clones. Heavenly Sword and Dante's Inferno were some of my favorite clones, and those were on the PlayStation 3. Shoot, even X-Men Origins Wolverine was a big clone, and I gotta say, it was pretty freaking cool. Never have you seen a Marvel game this bloody and gory. It was freaking awesome. It's true, God of War is a hack and slash game, and it wasn't the first, but these games are just too similar to God of War, so they're clones. Number 1, God of War isn't the first game. Okay, I kinda pulled a fast one on you. It is the first game, but it isn't the first game in the story. There are actually 2 God of War titles that play out the story of Kratos before the 2005 released game. The very first title, story-wise, was God of War Ascension on the PS3, set 6 months after the fateful day where Kratos unintentionally kills his wife and daughter. Then it went to God of War Chains of Olympus on PSP, also on the PS3 now, set 5 years into Kratos' days as a loyal servant of the gods. Then we get to the first released game, God of War. After 10 years of serving the gods, Kratos is ordered to kill his former master Ares, the god of war. There aren't a whole lot of games from 2005 that are still popular today, and with God of War being as popular as ever, I felt it was a good time to discuss some facts you may not know from this mega franchise. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please don't forget to subscribe, leave a comment, ring that bell, and thank you so much and have one hell of a day. Well, until next time, take it easy.